So this is the second to last video before the 100K special question and answer video. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask of me, be sure to comment them below. And if this is the first time to my channel, well, continue watching and you'll get to learn a little bit about me. So welcome back. This is Cetriya, Cetriya, and as I work on 2 more pages of my comic, I thought I'd talk a little bit about keeping up a little schedule and trying to keep up with your motivation. So a first little note, I know for a fact that a lot of you guys are halfway through Inktober, and if you're not doing Inktober, well, there are other art challenges to get working on too. But my personal challenge is trying to finish up as many of the stories that I come up with before my time ends on this planet. One of the things that I guess in a little bit of a confession is I definitely did not do as many pages as I'd like to do this year. And it's not as though I went and make other kind of artwork or illustrations or whatnot. I just had so many distractions. And of course we have the family distractions and other forms of distractions. And then there's just some days where you don't feel like really working on anything. And not to say that you physically don't feel like working on anything, but sometimes mentally I just am too fuzzy to really come up with a new way of storytelling or to write through certain scenarios. But I will say that one of the biggest things that I have done to kind of sort of help my motivation is to try to clear up as many of the distractions that happen around me. Now, I can get really deep dive into this and talk about general things of like keeping to your health and tips for those, but that could end up being a whole nother video. So if you're into me talking more of upkeeping your health as an artist, let me know and I'll start putting in a couple of videos, video links, making my own videos, and of course just perusing them in and sprinkle them in other videos that I created. But for the most part, I've been listening to a lot of things about general health and how to keep your body as well maintained as possible. But personally for me, for the momentum of an artist and a creative when you create something, which I have mentioned in a few videos in the past, maybe a few videos ago, that I decided not to go and do the 100 days of making comics, but I think I really want to do that because when I did that challenge before, it has helped me to basically draw or keep on top of things more consistently. Now, I've rambled about my job before and its demands on me mentally to constantly draw, but I think I'm finally getting past that threshold where I'm sort of getting used to the amount of mental workload and physical workload that comes with the drawing and keeping into balance that, I don't end up hurting myself or overtiring myself. And in general, I genuinely find joy in creating these stories. I have so many ideas and stories and illustrations that I want to work on, and I want to share it with you guys. And I know since I'm so excited about it that some of you might just be really excited about it too. And hopefully once you guys get to consume some of the stuff that I make, it might bring a little bit of happiness into your day, or a lot of happiness, hopefully. But that is the thing that I've kind of been trying to juggle with this past week. And next week probably will be even more full of stuff, but I do want to get the first half of chapter 3 done, and I have one more page left of penciling, and then I'm going to get into inks. I'm trying to really work on myself and discipline myself for timing of being a little bit faster, and in a way not necessarily making the art not the best that it could be, but more so of maybe not what some people have called like noodling the artwork. Because to be frank, if I was doing this on paper with ink and not digital, I probably would not try to finagle the artwork as much. But then once I scan it, I might clean up some things, but it won't be as, I don't want to say precise, but it won't be as cold and stiff that I find. In fact, I probably spent a good amount of time trying to make my digital inking less cold and less stiff. So that's that. I want to discipline myself on how much time I take in noodling little itty bitty details that the reader and you guys will pass by through, and it's all about the big shapes that I want to get, really well done. Another thing is, maybe perhaps I don't give that impression, and for some of you with more experience, you definitely notice it, and that is I am actually relatively inexperienced in a lot of things, and I think most of it is because I don't put in the time or the mileage, and I'm trying to be a little bit more loose with my work, a little less precious with it, so that way I can actually get through, I would like to say, my ugly stage. Some books about, you know, putting in your 10,000 hours or how to be a pro and all that stuff talk about how you go through that growing ugly stage. And in a, you know, physical example, all of us has gone through a physical ugly stage, whether, you know, you were full of acne or you were just that weird body shape when you were growing up, and then eventually you've grown up and you matured. But there's rare times when someone has not gone through the ugly stage. So I definitely want to keep that in mind when I'm working on my work. And the last bit is I do want to go back to my basics and fundamentals while still working on this comic, and perhaps add in some new tools such as 3D rendering and mock-up for the backgrounds. And when I say that, I don't mean that I'm just gonna just plop in a 3D background, but just wanting to use 3D more so that way the structure would look more realistic or grounded, just have some good bones before I draw on top of it. So just figuring out different techniques and different point of views in creating comics. The last thing I'd like to mention is I do plan to finally put up like a little mini series of how I make my comic pages and my chapters, and hopefully you guys will find that helpful on your end in case you're thinking of starting a new little project or a big project, though I'd suggest to start small. And hopefully you guys find that helpful. I know I've sprinkled in a couple of tutorials here and there, but I haven't really done like one step 1, 2, 3 right after each other and create a very cohesive playlist for you guys. So I have that in the works, and I have the 100 days of making comics in the works, although that probably will be around, like, I want to say early spring that I'll do the 100 days. And I have other art challenges in the works, so I got lots of stuff to do. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is the second to last video before the special 1000 visitor or subscriber Q&A. So again, if you guys are new and you enjoy this video, or perhaps you're more curious, check out other videos and see if my channel is to your interest. I am a illustrator by day, where I work at a retail corporate office, so you just might be wearing one of my shirts that I designed, or you just might be eating off one of those plates that I made the artwork for. And by night, I'm kind of a novice writer and comic illustrator, so if you want to see my artistic journey, then please by all means subscribe. And last but not least, for the Q&A video, I've gotten some really good in-depth questions so far, but if you have something silly you want to ask me, please leave it in a comment below, and feel free to ask me more than one question. Anyhow, I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully in future videos. All the best. Ciao.